Thank you for staying with us. Now our guest this Thursday, our last celebrity guest this Thursday is Paul Utom. He's achieved quite a lot in a relatively short time in the Nigerian movie industry.
Yes, now he is also a voiceover artist with several radio jingles and radio dramas to his name. We want to know what the future is looking like for Paul in Nollywood, directing, filmmaking, everything together. Good to have you here, Paul.
It's good to be here.
Thank you. Welcome. You know, while we're introducing you, it's actually been quite a show. There's quite a lot. You moved in leaps and bounds. I remember a few times when I used to go for auditions and we used to, you know, not so long and all of that. But there's been now you produce, you direct, not just only acting and all.
Yeah.
Is that a natural progression for anybody who wants to move in any movie industry, from acting to directing and filmmaking and all that?
For some people, yes. For some people, it's not what they want to do, so they go in another direction. So, yeah. For me, I've always wanted to tell stories, entertain people, leave lasting impressions on people, and so it was natural for me to move in that
How
direction.
far back in life did you want to be a filmmaker?
Unconsciously, probably since the very beginning, when we were kids and we were watching Indiana Jones and James Bond, and I think the first time I toyed with the idea of being an actor was probably in the late 90s, early noughts.
Okay.
There's this scene in Gone in 60 Seconds where Nicolas Cage pulls out in a Shelby, if I'm not mistaken, and he's backing up into the road, and there's a 12-year-old boy in another car who's seeing this guy do some crazy shit with that car. And Cage looks at him for like the briefest of seconds. And to me, it was just pure magic. Editing-wise, and I just always wanted to recreate stuff like that, stuff that kids and people watching at home would look at and go, whoa.
Yeah.
So why did you start in front of the screen?
Because I, on some level, you know how they say people know you better than you know yourself? So I never thought I was going to be an actor, but people kept nudging me in that direction, and eventually I listened, and I'm glad I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go just a quick step back to what I asked you, and you saying the editing-wise. I want to talk about the few scenes you showed me from Country Hard.
Yes.
I have had conversations with people about that, those scenes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our films are conversation-driven.
Yeah.
And that, those few scenes were more visually telling. They told the story more from the visuals and no words.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about why you chose to tell your story that way versus using words.
The truth is, when I went to film school, I studied under Amaka Igwe, and she was the major proponent of show, don't tell.
Fabulous.
So basically, Chrissy Hidero also says the same thing. Whenever you can, show, don't tell.
Now,
So,
tell us about Nollywood filmmaking and telling. What do you think is the problem that filmmakers, writers have, that they focus more on telling than showing? Is it inadequate knowledge, or they feel that the Nigerian mind is too small for you to show?
I don't think it's either of those things.
Okay.
I think there are budget concerns and certain limitations. So the easiest thing to do is to tell people. You cannot want caviar and they give you crayfish eggs. That's not the same thing. You can't get caviar from crayfish eggs. So the truth is, a lot of them want to show visually. They want to create an incredible mise-en-scene, but they cannot do that because the budget doesn't allow for it. The budget doesn't allow for world building. So the fastest way for them is to tell people, so they have the actors convey the message to the audience.
This trailer has been playing for quite a while now. This is Ratnik.
Yes, it is.
Do you think, some people said, I've heard some comments about this, that Nollywood punch above their weight, or trying to punch above their weight with this movie? What do you think about that?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I do know that the director-producer, Dimeji Ajibola, spent a lot of money and a lot of his resources and time trying to get this movie made. It was a passion project for him.
That's exactly what I wanted to mention, a passion project, as opposed to with the market. Do you think this would fly with the local market? You know? Because that's where you know, and that's where people feel like, look, if you wanted to do this, not everyone wanted to do this. Did they point? Because you mentioned something now, you know, when you're trying to find that balance when you're looking at the budget and then trying to push the story out and all of that. And this is heavily, it's a CGI driven based movie, and then some parts were quite cool, some parts, you know. So in that regard, do you think that he tried maybe punch above his weight and being a passion project, spending so much money, you think he's going to make his money back?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. You hope for the best. What I do know is this. What I do know is this. If you don't give people something, you can never really be sure if they're ready to accept it or not. At the end of the day, a lot of Nigerians watch sci-fi films, watch action-adventure comedies, watch films that are driven heavily by CGI. We watched Avatar.
Yes,
we gave money to watch Avatar. We're going to give money to watch the next Avatar when it comes out. So who's to say that the Nigerian movie audience or movie goers are not sophisticated enough or are not willing? Maybe we need to do a bit more in terms of marketing and presentation. There is probably that challenge. But I think with the right budget and the right kind of marketing strategy.
Let me mention something. I was talking about budget. I remember when Avengers just came out, and then there was this hype about the Ari Alexa, and then the Nigerian filmmaker, I don't mention his name, he goes, yes, we used Ari Alexa to shoot this film. It was the same camera they used to shoot Avengers. I was like, wow. So you saw you're making a reference to that something now. You want to blow our minds.
No.
If I called the movie here.
No, but sorry to cut you. Talking about budget and all, do you think, as a filmmaker, when we see a film like Ratnik and we see a film like Avengers, imagine two of them going side by side in the cinemas. As a Nigerian, we're more inclined to Nigerian films telling Nigerian stories.
Exactly.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is a Nigerian story?
A story we can relate with.
Exactly.
Something, okay, for instance, I just wanted to mention now, if I wanted to fight you on the street, I won't come with a roundhouse kick. I'll probably wrestle you.
With Ogbeni?
You understand? I'll probably go for, maybe, you don't understand. I won't see you and say, let me try one roundhouse kick and cut off your nose or something. You get what I mean?
You wouldn't come with a roundhouse kick. But there are one or two individuals out there who might come with a roundhouse kick.
But then as a filmmaker, isn't it your responsibility to tell us stories from... Now, we watch American films or international films, and we digest it because it's stories that we know them to be. Sorry, let me land. We know them to be. And then when we watch some certain Nigerian films, certain filmmakers will feel like, oh, this is too comedic, or this is like slapstick, is an insult to our mental space. And then we watch things like Ratnik and we feel like they're too intense. Now, don't you, but those films that are comedic and probably slapstick to them sell more because a lot of Nigerians relate to that. Now, as a filmmaker, my question is, don't you think, apart from it being a passion project, if you're telling Nigerian stories, shouldn't we tell relatable Nigerian stories, even Ratnik, but bring it to a space of Nigerianness, if I can put it that way?
I'm glad you said that. I mean, you said relatable, and you said relatable. The truth is this: there are only 7 types of stories on the planet: aspirational, love, revenge, blah blah blah. 7 types of stories. Star Wars is not, based on what you're saying, relatable to any culture. Neither is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, because Chinese men, I hope I'm not being racist, do not fly. You don't walk on water. So I cannot see how you are telling me you enjoyed that film and a lot of Chinese people paid money to watch that film and they could relate to the scenes where people were walking on trees and walking on water. Come on now. It's fantasy. It's entertainment. It's beautiful. It was well executed. If Ratnik had a slightly better budget and was able to market itself successfully, he may not be having this conversation.
True.
You all love The King of Boys.
Of course we do.
And Living in Bondage. And there was a time before those films where we thought that anything that wasn't comedy would not sell.
True. Before we talk about other people's films, I said I wanted to kind of like go another way. But I want to talk about, before we wrap up, I want to talk about your personal life. I mean, doing research, we were like, this guy is quite safe, no scandal, no nothing. Is it that you don't have personal life, as in you're not doing anything apart from film? You're not busting any girl's head. No girl is busting your head. Nothing is going on.
Well, you bust my head.
But tell us, how have you managed to keep your personal life safe and out of scandal in this industry?
I think I have a lot of good people, sensible people people who are wiser than me around me.
Okay.
And when I find myself erring or second guessing my actions, then I look at them and they give me that look of, okay, you know, that kind of thing. Rein it in, check yourself, and you know, be your age or something. And I think I listen.
Before I let you go, as an actor, do you think it is fundamental to have scandals to grow, or you think you could play it safe?
I don't think Anthony Hopkins, Daniel Day-Lewis, Denzel Washington have any scandals that we know of. And I can name a few. Sam Rockwell, Meryl Streep. I don't know. They don't have any.
Bring you home.
Okay, here. I don't know that Joke Silva, Olu Jacobs, Peter Doce. I mean, off the top of my head, I have never heard. I don't know that Tokwe Tedela or, let me see.
Or Paul Utom.
Or this why Utom have had any significant scandals. I mean, gaffes and mistakes like the one that happened with the picture. But that was not anyone's, these things happened. But scandal, not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We do have breakfast for all this energy that you've given us this morning.
Thank you.
MM and Mazino are waiting for you in the kitchen.
So this way.
Yes,
Just
indeed.
head this way. Just head this
Thank
way.
you.
Yeah.